Uh-oh.
So this footage is actually from last year at Horseshoe Bike Park. It was the end of July, a little over 6 weeks before my child was born, hence the lack of videos. And the goal was to have some fun doing downhill without anyone getting hurt. But things didn't go as planned. If you're new to this channel, I've only been mountain biking for a few years, and my goal has always been to show off the trails in Ontario. Usually, these are cross-country trails in the Muskoka region. I am by no means a great mountain biker. My videos are really aimed for riders that want to check out the trails and see if they're worth visiting. Definitely not a showcase of skill. Also, I've only ridden downhill a handful of times.
They put all the easy trails the furthest away because they're like, only losers will want to go over there.
If you've never been to Horseshoe before, around half of the trails are a bit of a ride away from the getting off the lift. I've only been to a couple of downhill parks, but I've heard some people complain that this is the most cross-country riding needed to get to the downhill trails every time. But it really only takes a couple minutes if you're cruising, and many of the trails are actually just off the lift.
Gotta start slow. You don't want to ruin your day. You don't want to ruin your day from the start. Woo!
Since this was filmed, Blue Mountain, likely the premier place to downhill in Ontario, has indefinitely closed their bike park. I was actually surprised to see how much Horseshoe improved their trails from 2019 to 2020. They made quite a few changes, but I'm guessing they'll likely be extra focused on it for this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if things have changed even more in 2021, as I haven't ridden there yet this year, but it's the only downhill park within a few hours now. I believe this trail was brand new in 2020 and features a bunch of jumps. They're mostly tabletops, and it's an awesome trail for beginners like me to experiment getting air or even just riding over. Jumps are fairly rare in the Muskoka area right now, so I essentially have no experience hitting them. I remember this trail featured a fairly steep roller. I went to Horseshoe for the first time in 2019, I believe it was, and it was the first time I had ever ridden downhill. I remember the roller being really intimidating, and I was looking forward to seeing if it was something that would be easy for me now that I've progressed my skills.
Whoa, they changed this. They got rid of it.
Maybe some riders were getting hurt as it did kind of sneak up on you, but either way, I guess I'll never know if it's something I progressed past.
Oh. Oh God. Don't go that way. And I've ridden there before. They got rid of that big roll. Yeah, this is new too. Wow, they've changed everything.
This entrance to trail number 2 might look pretty rough. That's because, well, it's not the entrance.
This is loose. Oh, oh. What happened here? How did this happen?
I think we missed a turn.
All right, 2 has been a bit of a failure.
Apparently we got a little excited and turned before the start of the actual trail, so we had to join our friend Matt partway down.
Whoa. Oh yeah, you get some mad air on these.
My friend Dave had a little crash on this one, nothing too crazy, but I find seeing others crash or crashing myself always reminds me I'm a little bit older, in my mid-30s with no previous mountain biking experience, so maybe it's best just to take things slow and enjoy the ride. Rather than constantly trying to push myself, these are the unfortunate reminders, but reminders nonetheless.
Dude, Dave wiped out and his helmet's all bent. He says he was okay, but his visor's like... You straighten your hat. Your visor doesn't look so
I just
bent.
kept going straight. I was trying to slow down. I was just like,
What I really like about Horseshoe, for the most part, is you can really just roll over any obstacle. So at this point, you can really choose to dial it down if things are getting too intense on any trail. But even though this group of riders were fairly inexperienced, including one that had never even tried downhill and rarely mountain bikes, we were still able to ride every trail. Although I definitely recommend you start with the easiest ones and then you make your way up to make sure that you can actually handle them before you go jumping into, say, a black diamond.
Well, I was hoping I'd build up the courage to do this drop, but after looking at it again, no. Definitely a roller for me.
You can really tell how used I am to jumps when I giggle like a schoolgirl for getting like a couple inches of air. So up to this point, the day was going great. Aside from Dave's small crash, we were all having a blast, trying out these trails we were unfamiliar with, and really being reminded of how fun downhill is. All the fun without the hassle of exercise that we're used to. But we had ridden most of the trails, and we decided we wanted to at least know what the pro line looked like. It has this start where you have to get off your bike and walk up it, but we had no idea if there would be big gap jumps or really how crazy it might be at all. So the idea was to ride slow and see what the trail actually includes. Obviously, in hindsight, this is a bad idea. Really, it was a bad idea then. Riders that aren't experienced in downhill should really never try a pro line. But curiosity got the best of us as we were able to ride all the other trails. And I think Dave had actually ridden this one before, as he did do downhill when he was younger.
Oh, there's people coming behind us. Do you guys want to go first?
No.
I've never. Have you ridden here before? Like this trail?
Yeah, but I didn't do the ramp.
I haven't. Are you going, James? Are you? I plan to roll over every single jump. Poorly. This is a busy trail.
There isn't much speed at the start, but then when you get to a big downhill and the first big jump,
that's true. You don't have
unfortunately, that's where the fun stopped.
Dave ate it.
You okay? Oh, hang on.
Yeah, you,
Bad?
yeah, bad.
Uh-oh.
He went way over his, like...
That's not good.
I believe Dave had ridden this jump before, so he wasn't afraid to send it like some of us, mainly me. Inherently, if you do something dangerous, bad things can happen.
How you doing? Your head's...
Well, it doesn't look like anything's broken or bleeding or nothing. That's good. Not right now.
Can you go here? Take a seat, dude. Take your time.
While we were there helping Dave, we watched someone wipe out on the trail above us and this.
Oh! Hey, hold on. Wait.
Oh yeah, I sat right on my seat.
Why would you sit down?
Oh, you
I
see?
did that so many times.
So guys, because I couldn't see, because I forgot to put my goggles down, got excited, did the first three, and they were on the corner, and then I
Oh.
how's it going?
Good. We brought his bike down, but he's hurting and just standing up's not so great for him.
Shoulder on the right side. You're the one.
I think he might have broke his clavicle or something. It's popping out a little bit. Not popping, but or swollen or something.
Anyone here got
Go
carried to the
ahead.
hospital?
We could, sure.
Unfortunately, it became pretty obvious Dave wasn't riding this one out.
Air knuckles.
At the time, we really weren't sure what was wrong, but
sure?
Dave was in a lot of pain. We rode down the hill and watched Dave get taken away by ambulance. It turns out it was subluxation of the right collarbone. I believe that means he dislocated his collarbone. In other words, he hurt himself. Moral of the story of this one is pretty obvious. Be sure to pace yourself. It's easy to want to constantly progress, but if you push too hard or too fast, you're inevitably going to get hurt. Even though Dave was more experienced than most of us, these things do happen. Luckily, Dave healed up within a matter of weeks and was back out riding. So if you like this video, please do hit subscribe and like the video. If you made it this far, you may have already followed my videos for a while, and you might be wondering why there's been such a long delay. In short, I had a child at the end of the summer, and I went into survival mode for the first 6 months. Mix that in with a pandemic and work, and finding the time to ride has been really hard, much less film and edit. I do have another video recorded showing off a brand new Morka trail in Bracebridge, but beyond that, my videos are gonna be super sporadic this year, most likely. But I'll do my best to get back in the swing of things and look forward to riding much more and making more videos. Thanks everyone for checking this one out. Bye bye.